My mother is a child who doesn't know she's a child. See? I get voicemails like just earlier today, yesterday, late last, whenever. It's 3 in the morning. Where's my glass? Oh, they're over there. It's probably later than 3. I'm watching Inside Out. I drank my tiny bit of leftover booze, but that was hours ago, and I did not, didn't touch the Kahlua. It was disappointing when I realized that 375 is only 12 ounces, and if you're getting 12 ounces, that would be 6 drinks if it was hard liquor. But when it's Kahlua is half the alcohol by volume, half the proof, so you only get 3 drinks. Not even worth it. Nothing's worth it. Inside Out, I don't know what the 2 emotions are. I know anger, sadness, and joy, of course. I don't know the other 2. It's not saying. I ate a lot, but I get to have no life, no fun, no nothing. Damn well wasn't going to watch that New Year's Rockin' Eve that I've watched so many years. Anyway, my mother's a child crying to me that her food doesn't taste good because she's on a salt restrictive diet. Okay? And again, when I was there was an aide who was like, I always give her salt. Okay? And had I known the times I've fed her, I can actually go and I could get her, there's a place where I could get her like a salt packet. But I didn't. But the thing is, most of them are not going to disobey, and they're not, mom has to eat the food or starve. But crying to me is not going to change a damn thing. My mom's a child. She's a child who doesn't know she's a child. She's a child screwed by her own mental illness. Had my mother known the precarious nature of her reality, her existence, mine as well, and she realized that, and she had the ability, the mental cognitive ability to realize that years ago, like Joe said, we'd already be with Joe right now. My mother's illness sealed her fate, okay? In the end, that child, I will continue to fight to not have her put in a nursing home, but if it gets out of my hands, if someone else, there'd be nothing that I can do. You understand? Joe will be the first to tell you too. He said it in so many words to me yesterday. I told him everything that had happened. Face to face with just reptilian evil, but not, it's something, she doesn't think she thinks probably she's a good person. She's just doing her job. She has to, but I'm in a different situation than most people. I'm all alone. I don't have any friends here. I have to beg and plead and cry to the church people, and I'm getting ignored. But you understand? That wouldn't be the case if it's some good friend like Joe, who you say, look what I'm going through. You gotta come through for me. I don't want my mom to come home in a chair car, but I don't want to pay $1,000 for her to come home in a chair car either. And the woman today, the director, was insisting that, well, that won't go through insurance. I said, everything has always gone through her insurance. And I remembered even when she was in that nursing home, she broke her neck and back and neck brace and was, and she's like, Medicare will not pay for chair cars, they'll pay for ambulances. Yeah, and since she can't take a bus or take a, she's eligible for an, but I don't want her to have to do that. Do you understand? You know what's going to happen? Stuff will get left behind. And then if it's even there if I go via public transportation to go get it, but I can't go get it, can I? Because my mom comes home, I can't leave her alone. See? And if nobody from her church helps me, then they're fucking evil. Because I have nobody. I have, and Joe says this is all, he believes it, even if it's not conscious. All these people are just conspiring to just, and they're conspiring against me. They're conspiring so they can step in and take over and, This isn't, oh, well, can you please do me a favor? This is, you have to. Not only if my mom has to go home in a chair car, that'll cost like whatever. I told you I wouldn't pay the other one, and that was a hospital, and they should have known better and sent her home in an ambulance, and we don't pay a penny, and I told them up front, okay? I know my mom has been sent home in a chair car, and not paid a penny. It went through the insurance, but you can't. This director's insisting that she knows things that she does. I'm just sickened. If I had that other social worker who's a fucking cunt, no bedside manner, no kindness, no whatever. Although probably she would have started off being kind, polite or whatever. But not when she's confronted me and they want my mom out of there. And the director got mad at me when I said, you guys have decided. We don't decide, Medicare decides. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit. Medicare knows nothing except what you tell them. Don't even try that one with me or with Joe. You decide. She has to fit the certain criteria, but you decide, and that can be, finagled to whatever. You decided you didn't want her there, and that's why she's gone. But the reason I say this is evil, thinking it's good, or just, I'm sure it doesn't view itself as whatever, because when I said, I'm telling the whole story, and then the part where oh God, I'm puking in my head. I didn't puke. I did eat a lot. I deserve to eat a lot. I'm not even get to do anything. I had no fun and no life and nothing but taking care of my mother. And I said to that director, because I was telling the whole story about the bitch on Christmas Eve. I said to her, first of all, remember she already told me, she butted in, she was like, we only have to give you 3 days, that's legal, that's right, she didn't do anything wrong, yeah. And then I retorted back with, oh, yeah, okay, whatever, but she was still, I never met her in my life, she was cold, unfriendly, non-professional. She could have taken me out instead of doing all this in front of my mother, who then thought she was leaving Friday and telling everybody. Okay, I said, my best friend, we don't even know, I don't even know why she has a job as a social worker. So I got my little digs in. Joe was proud of me. Because this director didn't give one flying fuck. You could tell by her eyes. She did not care. She can't get rid of me. We talked for almost an hour. But she did not give a fuck how I was treated, because it's legal. It's morally reprehensible. I don't care if it's legal. I don't give a fuck. It's morally reprehensible. You think she was gonna understand me saying it's no? I didn't say it's morally reprehensible, but when I said, I went and said, when I didn't back down or whatever, she said I'll go call the other one who I've been dealing with for all these weeks, and then she came back and said she says she'll talk to you Thursday because she's on vacation Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but she also the woman goes, well, next week. And I look at her and I go, well, next week at the end, not the beginning. I mean, this is insanity. Do you know what that director said to me? That's why when I told Joe when I was coming home after such a long, draining day of an hour with the director, talking to the director on the phone, okay? And, so I'm sorry, not the director. In person, I talked to the director. I also, I filed my appeal. I was on that line for a while, and I was on the complaint line. Day before is when I was an hour with the complaint line, trying to have it ahead of time, know what I was in for, get info ahead of time, so I'd be, I'd be empowered with information, I'd be, but an hour with the DMH guy, and that was the day before, an hour with the Medicare guy, and an hour with my mom's longtime primary care physician nurse. The nurse was appalled at everything. Again, the director's cold. When a nurse gives you, from my mom's longtime primary care, when she called me back, and when she gives you her undivided attention for that long, they're busy. She's going to share it all with my mom's primary care physician, but also she cared enough to listen. At any point, she gets to have to go, The director actually said to me, when I said that the other social worker postponed the discharge, she didn't have the authority to do that. Are you fucking kidding me? I was so disgusted. When I finally left for the day and could cry in my head and just talk to Joe and be like, Joe, I want to throw up. Like, seriously. Not this. If I had a different social worker, they would have been kicking my mom out 4 weeks in. Like, literally, like, ridiculous. Or a little over, whatever it is. That's what they would have been kicking my mom out. A little over 4 weeks in. Is it really that soon? Is it really, like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. A little over 4 weeks, they would have been kicking my mother out of rehab. That's what they wanted to do last week on Christmas Eve. This week, it's going to be a little over 5, so that was a little over 4. And that director said to me, when I said how this all went down, and then I'll go call so-and-so. But then she comes back with, and she said, we'll postpone it till next week. She didn't have the authority to do that. I'll have to talk to her. See, reptilian evil. The director is essentially saying, well, this one didn't do anything wrong. We only have to give you that. So basically, after we had the family meeting on December 12th, we're going to revisit this in a few weeks. You have another meeting. Your mom doesn't have a discharge date, leading me to believe, not that that someone's going to come at me a little over 4 weeks after my mom's been there. Your mother's insurance is running out when she's approved, as far as I know, for 100 days. That doesn't mean she's going to be in it for 100 days. We have strict criteria to follow. Your mother is seriously cognitively declining again because she's human and wanted to come home for Christmas and couldn't. That's it. No mas. Now we want her out of here a little over 4 weeks after she got in. Are you fucking kidding me? And again, the director was cold, reptilian evil. I don't care. That's a perfect, sums it up, because she didn't have the authority to do that. As in, this one sitting in front of me, all calm and all just matter of fact robotic, that pissed off that my mom didn't leave last week on Christmas Eve, that I get my NOMNC then. We only have to give you 3 days. So-and-so didn't do anything wrong. Legally, we only have to give you 3 days notice. That's what they would have done. Again, legal is not moral in my situation. Again, the roommate had to leave and didn't want to, and she'd only been in there a couple weeks. She was told your insurance is running out. She takes that at face value and she left. But she's going home to herself. My mom's coming home to me. I was led to believe that she would be in there longer. And then I mentioned the whole bed thing, that I get this phone call out of the blue that I didn't get until Saturday night, when I miraculously got my phone fixed after trying to do shit and get voicemails and stuff Thursday night with the consumer cellular at my neighbors for hours until they had to go to bed, you know. And then the next day going out and getting the brand new phone, so now I can at least have a phone in emergencies, dial in, or anyone needs to, my mom or, you know. And then Saturday, for shits and giggles, basically, I thought there was no hope, but I did call up because I wanted, even if there's no hope for the phone, I have to throw it in the trash. I want to know what happened. Well, almost an hour and a half, but she walked me through the steps to factory reset that phone. And I said, will the voicemails go away? She's like, no, they shouldn't unless somebody already reset your do something. She's like, they should be there. So there's no really had no hope. I'm just saying we can even fix the phone. We fixed the phone miraculously with the help of the neighbor's Wi-Fi. I don't have Wi-Fi intentionally. And then I have a voicemail from Friday. I could barely understand it, but I got the gist. Yeah, we have a medical bed for your mom, name of my mom. We need to know when we're going to deliver it. What? So when I said to the director, you know, so-and-so, I also got my little digs in. You know, she treated me with kindness and respect, unlike the other one. You know, I'm just saying it matter-of-factly, like Joe says. Joe teaches me also to say stuff like, well, how would you feel if you were in my shoes? You know, what if it was your mother? Or do you see where, you know, how would you feel? Or if this was happening? But she wasn't even going along with it. She just, and then she'd go, well, I'll have to talk to her about the whole medical bed thing, okay? And then I brought up the friggin' wheelchair. Again, evil. Thinking it's good. I guarantee you this woman doesn't view herself as evil. She's just business. It's business, and she's going to be robotic, and this is how it is. And you know, she had no authority, as in pissed off that I got this extra week. Evil. Evil. We only have to give you 3 days. Yes, legally. Morally, I'm one person, as you know. I don't drive. I take public transportation. You haven't approved my mom to be alone at all. How am I going to get her meds? How am I going to get her home? How am I going to pay $1,000 for a chair? You know what I mean? And then I said to her, what about a wheelchair? Well, we're not responsible for equipment, but you're not allowed, you are not an independent agency, as in you work with Medicare. You're not allowed to just do as you please or have an unsafe discharge. My mother needs a wheelchair to survive. That's why Joe said they're all conspiring against you so they can scoop in and take your mother away or something. Again, you know, like, okay, you're not responsible for medical equipment, but I, weeks ago, from day one, told the other social worker, I am going to need a wheelchair script. Remember, this is all rushed on me right now where we couldn't, I'm already, and dear Annette already like, what about this medical bed? You didn't even tell me you were getting that. But the director explained that, yeah, we can't do a medical bed ahead of time. Because I thought they could do it and then see if we ever improved or not. No. I wound up talking to the medical bed people yesterday too. And how does that work? Well, we don't even bill the insurance or anything. We deliver the bed, then we bill the insurance. Well, what if it doesn't, what if the insurance says no? Oh, then you come back and get your fucking bed. Well, you can't afford a penny. And she's like, well, and then the director said, I said, well, I'm sure your doctor only wrote the script for the medical bed because he's like really, really, really certain she'll be approved through insurance. And the medical bed people, like sometimes you don't get the extra 20. I haven't seen the, but I know my mom has good secondary insurance, and if they're paying for the nurse, they're going to pay for the medical bed if she's approved, okay? And if it's not, we can't even afford the 20%, okay? Medical beds like are $1,000 to $3,000. They got her a really good medical bed. That's fantastic, okay? But the wheelchair thing, yeah, okay, you're not responsible for medical equipment. You can't just send my mother home where I don't have a wheelchair for her. My God, are you that evil? Are you that dense? Again, I can't talk to the reasonable social worker. She's on vacation for 3 days. Okay? The director's arguing with me. And the director's saying, well, let me just check, see if your mom's a mess. She's not a mess health. I would know. It's a complicated thing. I'd have to set her up with it that I didn't do. She's not a mess health. Just because DMH, well, she's associated with it. Yeah, it's a federal law that they come in and then they contract out to the local DMH. But my mom's not a part of them. Okay? So she checked her little thing and came back, well, you're right. So now where do we stand? My mom's insurance has always paid for her to come home from anywhere, even from that nursing home back a few years ago in the back and neck brace, and we had no problem. We never got any bill. This one's saying they do not pay from nursing. But you don't even know that. Like, you're just assuming that, but I don't want her to have to do that anyway because stuff will get left behind. And even when I said that, she was like, oh yeah, when she's going in an ambulance or a chair car, they're only going to take a couple bags. So they're not going to take all her fucking stuff. It's going to be left behind and I'll have to go get it on public transportation. And I can't leave my mother alone. So how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to get the medical records if I can't leave my mother alone? Will you mail them to me? You're going to charge me probably, what, $1 a page? It'll be hundreds of dollars. I still want the medical records. I also want the DENC. I want to know what happened here, that you were trying to throw my mom out a little over 4 weeks after she got in there. And then I had to visit my mom for hours. So I filed my appeal. I wasn't able to talk to someone for the complaint, okay? Because when I heard, I wasn't even going to do the complaint. My poor mother, I've been there for hours, but I got there real early and I hadn't even seen her. I was never going to go see her first and then leave. And I was not going to even do anything and go near her and have anybody come up to me. I wanted to keep it separate and then visit my mom for as long as I could, basically, before I had to leave, okay? But can you imagine, that director was pissed off. She didn't have the authority to do that. She must have talked to someone else. She didn't. She's human, unlike you. She realized that you can't just tell me on Christmas Eve my mom has to be out in 3 days. I don't care if it's legal. It's not moral. We had a family meeting where you said we'll revisit this in a few weeks. But the fact that the director said she didn't have the authority to do that, I'll have to talk to her. It tells you all you need to know. It's just, we're not human. My mom's not human. I'm not human. Robotic. obviously, and I said, well, she did it. She didn't talk to anybody. She immediately said to that woman who was itching to give me do that and say my mom has to be out Friday. And then I would say I'm going to appeal. And then they would give me that NOMNC. And then you have to appeal. They only have to give it to me 2 days before. You get what I'm saying? She didn't have the authority to do that. I'll have to talk to her whether she did it, whether you think she had the authority or not, because she understands that I'm human and sending my mom home. It could be not a safe discharge if you give me no fucking notice at all. A little over 4 weeks after my mother gets in there, when she's supposed to be in there for up to 90 days, and go, come on. She just got in there. You know that. Some of you know, and they're already trying to throw her out on Christmas Eve. We only have to give you 3 days. Yeah. You only have to give me 3 days, and then if I want to appeal, you have to give me the NOMNC 2 days before discharge. Yeah, you're right. You only have to give me 3 days legally, you fucking evil cunt. But it's not moral in my situation. And she doesn't have a wheelchair. No, you're not responsible to make sure her medical equipment, but it can't be an unsafe discharge. My mother needs the wheelchair. I can't get her one. I got rid of the one we had because I told this person, I'm always proactive, aren't I? It's not my fault I wasn't told about the medical bed, and I didn't have any time to get rid of this bed. Never mind selling it, just to get rid of it. I can't snap my fingers and have it gone on the holidays. And the wheelchair, I told her from day one, we're going to need a wheelchair script. We were supposed to get one from our primary care physician before all this shit went down. We need a wheelchair script. I got rid of the free one that we rented. I'm not saying this, I'm saying it to you. It depressed me looking at it. All this shit happened with my mom. I don't want to look at the fucking wheelchair, and I had nowhere to put it, and I'm not going to keep it when we can get a brand new one. Through Medicare, for free. Why do we want some old one that we borrow for free from a place when we can get a brand new one? If she dropped the fucking ball, but that director was just cold, we're not responsible. I'm like, so I left a note when I was leaving. I left a note, dear so-and-so, being polite, being whatever. I'm ready for my mother to come home. Okay? I'm ready for my mother to come home. If I lose this appeal, I'm ready for my mother to come home. And then in capitals, but only if she has a wheelchair. I have no way to get a wheelchair. You have to get her a wheelchair. Okay? It's not negotiable. Again, I'm dealing with the director and not the reasonable social worker. But the other thing, her getting home, we're going to have another bill like the one I didn't pay for $1,000. And that was a hospital. They just fucked up. They should have sent her home in an ambulance for free and not had a chair car send me a bill for $1,000. I'll never pay her the money anyway. But you see what I'm coming from? That director was pissed. We only have to give you 3 days. She didn't have the authority to postpone that, but she did it, didn't she? I guess she did have the authority. I said it right. I guess she did it. She must have talked to somebody. She talked to nobody. That woman came right back with, because remember, I have to go talk to her. I'm thinking she was going to be on her side. Instead, she said next week. And then she made it a whole week later because she's a human being and not a fucking robot. Like that cunt who did all that in front of my mother on Christmas Eve. Just coming at me about blah, 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 blah. And then this director, and then, well, we're not responsible for medical equipment. No, but you deal with Medicare patients. It can't be an unsafe discharge. It's not going to be a safe discharge. I have no ability to get her a fucking wheelchair. You're not responsible, but I told this 1 week ago that I need this. If she dropped the ball, it's not my problem. You can't do this to me. I'm a fucking human being, and so is my mother.